Hey everybody, it's Alex here from succeedatdating.com. Welcome back to another training session. I'm sitting here with Peter, also known as Sweater from the game. Welcome, Peter.
Hi, Alex.
And today's interview is all about his upcoming book. Just before we start, a quick introduction to Peter. Peter has been featured in our Dating Younger Women program at datingyoungerwomentips.com. He's also featured recently on GQ magazine and Zoo Weekly. He's also an international speaker, best-selling author, and a consultant. He recently spoke at the Pickup Convention in Los Angeles with several other of the world's premier dating experts, and also featured in the best-selling book The Game by Neil Strauss, where Neil Strauss, a mystery from the VH1 Pickup Artist show, actually stayed with Peter in your home in Surfers Paradise. Tell us a bit about that. Like, how did that come about?
Well, I did one of their very first courses in Hollywood, and then we became friends, and they said they're coming to Australia. I said, well, stay with me, guys. So they came over and stayed at my house for a week. That was before they became all rich and famous, you know. So, yeah, but it was fun having them there, and we had a lot of fun, and we went out, and yeah, it was really good.
Oh, great, great. So tell us a bit about your book. Why did you write this book?
Well, I guess for me it was a bit of you could call it a revenge thing. You know, I guess I've gone through a few relationship breakups, and also because, you know, when I was in my teens, 20s, 30s, even 40s, late 40s, even early 50s, I really didn't know how to talk to girls, how to approach girls, how to bring girls into my life on a consistent basis, and so I wanted to write about, I guess, my experience and my journey, and what guys can do who, you know, even are like over 50. It doesn't matter what age you are, you can still get young girls, and any girls really.
Nice, great. And so it's a kind of like a story on what you learnt on the way, what you picked up on the way.
Yeah, but it's just born out of frustration, because you know what it's like when you go out day after day, you never meet anybody, you know, all the girls you meet, they just want to be your friends. When you do meet somebody, they say, oh, you're such a nice guy, you know, let's just be friends. So I was running into it over and over again, and so then you meet a girl that's any kind of girl that's into you, then you just grab the first girl that comes along, because you don't have any options. So I guess it was about giving myself options, and also teaching now other guys that you can, you know, develop your skills, and there is a formula, if you like, a process. If you follow it, then it will work for you. It doesn't matter what age you are.
Okay. Do you find being older, do you find you being thrown in the friend zone quite a lot?
Not really. Not a lot less than I was when I was younger. I was always in the friend zone when I was younger.
Yeah.
I was always the guy that the girls would say, oh, you're such a nice guy, you know. You'll get a girlfriend, just be yourself. And I thought, well, I've been myself for 3 years, I haven't even got a kiss, so, you know, what good is that? So, no, as I'm older, I very rarely get it thrown into the friend zone. I let the girls know pretty much up front that if they hang around me, there's going to be trouble.
So Peter, tell us a bit about your background and, you know, how you got started in this.
Well, I remember very distinctly, when I was about 17, 18, there was 4 girls walking down the road, and I actually crossed the road so I wouldn't have to walk past them, because I was that shy when it came to girls, and that kind of followed me my whole life. Even though I did, you know, I get married and had some kids, like, you know, it was purely accidental that I met that girl. And I mean, if I got like 2 phone numbers in a year, it was like, oh my God, I've had a great year, you know. So it was like that kind of background, and it kind of followed me my whole life. It's like I didn't have the confidence to speak to half the human population, which is females. And it affected me in my career, in my business. So then I just thought, you know, I want to get better at this. I want to learn how to communicate better with half the human race, and how to, I guess, create that spark that you see some guys just naturally walk up to girls, and they're like, the girls are laughing, they're having fun. I wanted to be that person that's having that fun. And I didn't realize you could learn it. And once I realized that I could learn it, then I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. And I did it, and I pretty much documented that in my book, you know. So
you gave me a copy of the first editions. And,
yes.
And I'm in the book too.
Yeah, that's right.
One thing I noticed about your book, there is a ton of pictures.
Yeah, well, I document everything with a story and a photo of me and the girls. I mean, all the photos were taken just me out partying, so I didn't know I was going to even write a book when I took the photos, but I used some of the photos as a demonstration of, you know, A, that I am doing it, I have done it, I'm not just talking about it, that a lot of people talk about it, but they don't actually do it. I have been out there, I've had a lot of fun, I've met a ton of girls. I've met more girls in the last 18 months than I've probably met in my entire 45 years of my life prior to that. And I think I've got like 280 girls' phone numbers in my phone now, you know, in 18 months. Like, it's insane. Like, it's not even, you know.
Yeah.
There's not a weekend that I wouldn't go out and have girls around me and having fun. So that's why I started. I wanted to just get it and not have that frustration that you feel, you know, not being able to get that girl, seeing a girl somewhere across a bar or in a park and not being able to go up and talk to her, you know.
Mm-hmm. So just going back to your background, like, when did you start learning this?
Oh, I started about 10 years ago when I did that seminar with Mystery and also David D'Angelo, W Dating.
So you actually started when you were around in your early 40s?
Late 40s, yeah.
Late 40s.
I was probably 40, 42, 43.
Okay.
And I did not even really know what flirting meant up until that point. I had no idea. If you said to me, how do you flirt with a girl, I would have said, what's flirting?
Yeah.
I had no idea. It was like, it's bizarre. And I was like 42, 43 at the time.
Really? So if you would go out, just picture yourself back when you were 40 years old, and you would go out to a bar and you'd see all these really attractive girls, what would you do?
Oh, I just kind of look and feel really self-conscious. I'd be thinking, oh, everyone's looking at me. I'd always be inside my head, you know, which is what most guys are, you know. They think, oh, and if I talk to her, I'm going to get rejected. I have all this negative stuff going through my head because of all the past experiences. And I didn't have anything. I didn't know what to say. So, you know, that's important as well. If you know what to say and if you know the process for it, then it's easy. It's like anything in life, you know. It's like if you know how to cook a hamburger, it's easy when you got the recipe.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the recipe, you know, or a cake, you could be there all day freaking making a mess.
Yeah.
So I think dating and meeting girls it's like baking a cake. You know, you get the ingredients right, you mix it together the right way, and the thing comes out beautifully at the other end.
That's right.
So
you got to prepare as well to bake a cake. You can't just
you got to have all the stuff there ready, you know, and you can have your cake and you can eat it, guys, too. So.
That's funny. It brings me to another question. So, you know, 10 years on after, you know, studying all this and going out and getting heaps of practice. So if you were in a bar right now and you saw an attractive blonde in her early 20s, how would you start a conversation with her?
Well, the simplest one, I'm just thinking of something I've done just recently, you know, is just to go up and say, hello, who are you? You know, like that's how I say, hello, who are you? Wow, you look hot, you know, where's your bodyguards? Something like that. That's how I said that to girls. Are we partying tonight? What's going on? You know, I say stuff like that, just casual, relaxed. And what I do is as soon as I talk to her, you know, I got my arm around her, I'm always touching the girl straight away. I talk about it in my book, how important it is to touch girls straight away. You won't see me standing here and the girl's over there. I'll always be like with my arm around her, you know, and just like that. And girls don't mind it because I do it not in a sleazy way. It's just like friendly, you know. I'm friendly, and I just walk up and say, you know, hello. I don't try to do any clever stuff. You don't need to. Just hello. Who are you? You know, how come I haven't met you before? I normally know all the good-looking girls around here, but I haven't seen you before. It's just simple stuff, you know. Okay,
because some guys think if you compliment too early or if you give compliments, it comes across as sleazy. Or do you find that at all?
No. I tried that. There's this thing called negging, or somebody talks about saying something negative. That's the worst thing you can do. It gets you trouble, you know. Like, you know, if you say to somebody, hey, you look, if a girl came up to you and said, hey, you look really hot tonight, what would you do? Would you say, oh, you know, don't say that to me? Like, who's going to say no, you know?
That's a good point.
The only thing I must tell you, it works better with really hot girls. It works not as good with girls that aren't really attractive, because a girl knows in herself what she's like. So if you say, wow, you look really hot tonight, they'll be like, and they'll often shut you down, the ones that are not so pretty. So, you know, if you see someone that maybe is not super good looking, like as a girl, just say, wow, you look really interesting. How come I haven't met you before? You know, just say you're interesting, or I'm curious to find out more about you. So you're standing there. You know, what are you up to tonight, you know? So we're going to party or what? You know, and I'll talk about having party, fun. We're going to have some fun. We're going to party. And that's what girls want to do. When girls go out, obviously if you're in a supermarket or in a park, then it's a little bit different. Then you might just walk up and say, hey, you know, like, again, like, how come I haven't met you before? You know, I normally know all the good-looking girls in this park or in this supermarket. So just funny stuff. And the girl will laugh and say, like, who are you? You know, I'll say, I'm trouble. I'm good trouble.
Do you find, because a lot of guys, watching this might have trouble keeping the conversation going. Do you have any tips to give away?
Yeah, it's funny. I hear that a lot. Guys saying, I want, the guys that haven't talked to a lot of girls will say, oh, I want to know what to say. I run out of things to say. I have never found that being with a girl that we run out of things to say. Girls never shut up. You just got to sort of kind of keep it a little bit going, but they just never stop talking. Like, it's not a problem. I just say, so, where are you from and what are you up to? And I've learned a few, in my book I give a few examples of not giving standard answers to questions that girl asks you. Like, I'll give you an example. I met a girl once in Melbourne, and she was like in finance, and I just asked, what happens, when you go out and guys talk to you and so on, and what why is it so hard for you? Why is it so boring? He says, well, as soon as I tell a guy says, what do you do? And I tell him I'm in finance, they want to talk about their mortgage, and their house payments. And I'm like, I do it all day at work, I don't want to know about that. So I said, so what did you like about me? He says, well, you were different, because I said to her something like, you're in trouble tonight, aren't you? Because I think I'm going to do some bad things to you, or something like that. It was something really stupid. And she knew straight away, though, that it wasn't going to be an ordinary conversation. Oh, that's right. She said, I said, what do you do? She said, I'm in finance. I said, so what, you rob banks, do you? So you're a bank robber. Yeah. And straight away it was like, bang, It was on. If a girl says to me, she's from Colombia, I'll say, oh, you're a drug dealer, are you? Yeah. Am I going to get arrested if I talk to you? Yeah. So that's another standard. I've got a few standard things that I got in my book where once you're over the initial 2 or 3 minutes, you're okay. Yeah. It's always the hardest part is the first 2 or 3 minutes when you first talk to a girl. 3-5 minutes at the most. Yeah. By then, you're either in or you're not, and you should create that attraction in those first 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah. If you don't do it then, it'll never happen, guys. So that's what I teach in the book, how to get that conversation moving very quickly into the area where you want to be at.
Yeah. Well, one thing I noticed about your book, you have a lot of examples of the how-to, what to say examples, like a couple of things I picked up is if you're on an elevator going up and there's a girl behind you, you turn around and you say, hey, are you following me?
Yeah, on an escalator, those shopping centers, always people behind you. I'll turn around and say, hey, are you following me? You're not a stalker, are you? I said, I don't want to have another bloody stalker on my hands. Who are you anyway? And then, oh, wow, you got an accent. So then I pick up on what she says. Yeah. Oh, you sound like you're an accent. Where are you from? Oh, England, really? How'd you come to Australia? Did you get deported?
Well, are you lost?
Are you lost? Oh, yeah, are you lost? We're doing in Australia. Right. Are you lost? And he says, no. I says, oh, did you get deported? Are you here legally or am I going to get arrested if I talk to you? Yeah. You look like trouble. Yeah. That's the other thing. Tell girls they look like trouble because when you say that, they'll go like, oh, I'm not trouble. I say, yeah, I'm trouble. So, all right, so am I. And see who's bigger trouble. So let's do trouble together, and I just pick it up from there.
Yeah. Yeah. In learning this over the last couple of years, do you have like a book that you started writing down? Like if you heard someone say something funny, would you write that down in a book? And
I used to carry these notepads with me, and now you can just put it, into your iPhone and type it into notes or something. But I had a little notebook, and I used to write down lines I heard, jokes that I used, until I had a repertoire of stuff. So yes, if something was good, I'd write it down. I wouldn't just go there, oh, that was good, and laugh. I'd be writing it down. I had like 2 or 3 little books that I filled up.
Really?
And yeah, absolutely. I still got them at home, and I got all the lines, the pick-up stuff. There's some really good stuff that's kind of more like creative. There's one where you can just walk up to a girl. I read about it somewhere in a this mostly works in a nightclub thing, and you say, wow, you got the most luscious lips I've ever seen on a girl. Like I wondered what would happen if I was to just sweep you off your feet like some romantic stranger and kiss you so passionately that your toes would explode. And I did it like 5 times, and one girl just grabbed me and started pashing me, and that's what. And I don't know where I picked it up from, but the guy said actually I did it 6 times and one girl pashed me, So
and it worked.
Yeah, it did work. I did it 5 or 6 times and one girl just went bang, straight away, kissing me. So that's kind of a little bit more out there, but as you get more confident, it's we'll talk about it anyway about the qualities. Then things get a lot easier. I talk about it in my book as well, how to develop that confidence, how to develop that humor that you need to have, because as we know, girls want 2 things from a guy. If you look at any survey of girls, they want 2 things. One is confidence and a guy with a sense of humor. That always comes up over and over again. So I hate to tell you this, but if you want to have more girls, then you got to develop the confidence and the humor within yourself. But in my book, I actually tell you how to do that and how to do that without putting too much pressure on yourself, because I was, like I said, the most shyest guy you could ever come across. Even in my work, I didn't like I used to be on the phones because I didn't want to look people in the face, in the eyes.
Yeah. And you tried a lot of things like comedy classes, stand-up.
Yeah, I took stand-up comedy, I took acting classes, I did all sorts of things to develop my personality, if you like, both for work and for this. And look, it does pay dividends, but if you want a shortcut, then certainly in the book there's the condensation of all this, so you can get started tomorrow and get results tomorrow rather than having to wait years like I did.
Yeah. And
do it by trial and error.
So the next question is, will this work for any guys of any age?
Absolutely. Look, I'm 54 now, and I've been dating girls from 18 to 40, I guess. I don't tend to date girls lately that are more than 40 years old, but yeah, I mean, so if a 54-year-old can still date or go out with an 18, 19-year-old, I'm not saying that's what you should do, but I'm saying it is possible. It doesn't matter how old you are, and obviously if you're younger, it's a lot easier because some girls, they look at me and they're like, "You're as old as my father," They might not say it to me, but they'll certainly be in their head, and that's okay. Not every girl's going to be into you, but not every girl was into me when I was in my 20s and 30s. And someone will say, "You're too young, you're this." So it's just a numbers game.
That's a good point.
And I talk about it in my book. Girls are also a numbers game. Don't get too stuck up on one girl, Do the numbers, and some girls you'll get along with, others you won't.
That's great advice. And so your book isn't all just about how to pick up younger girls. It's how to pick up young girls, but also pretty much any girl of any age.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter the age of the girl. The girls respond to things the same way. I mean, if you're funny, you're funny. The same things that I'll say to a girl that's 20, 30, 40, and 50. It doesn't matter. And I do that in business as well. It doesn't matter where the person is in their age or social standing. You can use the same approach because it works,
Great. That's good. And for those interested in the book, they can go to www.thelovegamebook.com for those interested right now in checking out this book and what it has to offer. So my next question, Peter, is a lot of guys have this stuck in their mind. It's, shouldn't I just be myself? Because they've either tried new methods or they've read other books from dating coaches or other books out there, and why is your book different?
My book is different because I have an ability to reduce things into a very simple language. There's a lot of methods out there that are quite complicated. Look, I've tried a lot of stuff in the early days. I was there practicing these freaking seduction patterns and where you hypnotize the girl to want to go to bed with you or something, and honestly, it just gave me a headache. And then I just thought, why not just incorporate meeting girls into everyday life so that you can just go about your life, have fun, and meet girls, right? And it's part of your life. It's not something that you do over here like some kind of a sneaky, a robber. You're just doing whatever you do, but you do it with a view of meeting girls because you now have the tools and the ability to know what to say during your everyday life, that you can meet girls standing in line for coffee, being in a supermarket, being on an escalator. Obviously, if you go out at night, you go clubbing, that you meet girls there. And look, obviously alcohol does help because people are more relaxed, so there's definitely a thing to be said. I often say to the girls, have another drink. The more you drink, the better I look, And I mean, it's funny and it's true because the more we drink, the more relaxed we are. So that obviously is another environment, but you can just make this part of your life.
Yeah. And I've seen you can use pretty much your book to meet women during the daytime as well. I remember us being in Beverly Hills at the Beverly Center, and I turned around for a second because I was in some supermarket, and then you started talking to these three girls on the elevator, and then we ended up hanging out with them, having dinner with them the following night.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, that's right, you can meet girls anywhere, anytime. It's just like I said, going around your daily routine. And I'm not afraid if I like a girl just to say, well, listen, let's hang out again, let's have some fun, are you on Facebook, give me your number, I'm not... I just ask. The thing is, if you don't ask in life, you're never going to get. So you got to be, you got to be prepared to ask. And look, initially, if you're like somebody that's never done this before, your stomach's going to be churning. You're going to be really uncomfortable. Once you've done it a few times, it gets a lot easier. And so you also have to, as I said, do the numbers and put in that, the initial yards. That you can't avoid that. It's like going to the gym. Your muscles hurt for the first month. After that, it's easy.
Yeah. So it's like overcoming the approach anxiety. You have to push yourself maybe do maybe 100 approaches? Is that what you're saying?
Well, not, you know what, I never approached it like that. I know a lot of guys do that. They force themselves to do it, and it works for some guys, but if you're not, for some guys it doesn't work. For me, it never worked. I just got gradually better by incorporating some new skills into my everyday life, right? So I did everything I did before, except I did it better, you know, and I was more, you know, like I said, if a girl was behind me in a supermarket, I would start talking to her. I make it a point to talk to people everywhere, in elevators, in supermarkets, so, and not just girls, just anybody. So socially, I've become a more social person. And then when you meet a girl, it's just natural, because girls will pick up when you're manipulating it, you know, when you just, you know, you suddenly put on your pickup girl hat and go out and spin some lines, they'll pick it up, you know, and that's when you get uncomfortable. If you just basically go about your daily life and incorporate it in who you are, it's a lot easier, and I talk about it in my book, how to do that.
Great, great. The last question I have for you, Peter, is some guys might be asking, will this work for me? What's your answer to that?
Well, absolutely. You know, I don't care who you are, what nationality, what background. Girls are a funny breed, you know. They don't really judge you or even on your looks as much as on your personality and who you are. So anybody can make themselves a little bit more attractive to the girls. And I remember somewhere reading, you know, attraction is not a choice. It's so true, because, you know, I can walk up to girls and suddenly, you know it's on. And I'm like 54, they're like 20, and we're having so much fun, and people looking at us like, who is this guy? How does he do it? It's just because, you know, girls will make a decision whether they like you or not just on that moment, you know, and they don't judge you. They judge you on how you approach them, how confident you are, how much, you know, fun you are, what you say, and I'll give you all that stuff in the book.
That's right. So one thing, the first few pages always points out your energy level, and your energy overall it's a big factor. Energy
is important. Also, I talk about eye contact, body language, you know, how to touch a girl really quickly. That's really important. Like body language, eye contact is crucial with girls. You know, if you're not looking girls in the eye like I'm looking you in the eye right now, and it's kind of this relaxed look with a bit of a smile on your face, like a cheeky one, like I'm doing right now, right? If you do that with a girl, she is going to love you. You know what I mean? You just like, you know, you look at her, she knows, and you know, and it's on, and say, hey, who are you? You know? So it's not like being a try-hard. It's just, it comes off really natural. But the good thing is you don't have to be a natural to do it. I actually teach you how to be like a natural without actually being a natural, you know, those traits. And that's what makes it so much fun and easy to apply.
Great. So just summing up, Peter. So Peter's, your book is about to be released?
Yeah, we're going to put it into the bookstores, and it's available online as well on that www.thelovegame.com. And I expect it to be a big seller, because I've had girls read it, they loved it. There's even a chapter in there for girls, you know, like how girls always fall for the wrong type of guy and what to do about it. There's all sorts of stuff in there that, you know, will help you. Whatever problems you're having, it's in the book, you know, on how to overcome that. So you really can't go wrong.
Great. So www.thelovegamebook.com.
That's it.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
Peter.
you very much, Alex. It's been a pleasure, mate.